Tonight on the Local Live, new member joins Larchmont Village Board. Playland Job Fair is this coming Saturday. Bluegrass music comes to the Emlyn Theater. Mamaroneck Schools feature the story of a teacher's dream. In tonight's roundtable, we'll talk about anxiety. This and more coming up on the Local Live. Good evening, it's Thursday, April 5th. I'm Maura Carlin and welcome to the Local Live. This Monday at the Village of Larchmont organizational meeting, Judge Jerry Bernstein administered the oath of office to 3 newly elected officials. The 3 include Lorraine Walsh for her 2nd term as mayor and Peter Finelli for his 4th term as trustee. They're joined by new trustee Sarah Bauer, best known as the founder and director of Preserve Larchmont, an organization dedicated to containing overdevelopment in the community. Trustee Bauer won her seat by successfully challenging incumbent Carol Miller in the March election.
We're working with the new board. It's going to be a wonderful couple of years, and let's get to work.
Very quick thank you to everyone who supported me through everything, and especially my wonderful family. And I'm very, very excited to be joining the board. Thank you.
There's plenty of ongoing work that will need to be continued, as well as, I'm sure, some new projects and issues on the horizon. I look forward to finding workable, forward-looking solutions to the existing and new challenges which the village will face in the next 2 years, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to do so.
Warm weather is coming, we hope, and soon Rye Playland Park will be open again. And that's why Westchester County Executive George Latimer is hosting a Playland Summer Job Fair this Saturday, April 7th from 9 in the morning till 2 p.m. The fair will be at the Westchester County Center in White Plains, and the first 200 candidates to arrive will be interviewed on the spot. Jeff Scroggins in Colorado will be performing at the Emlyn Theater Friday, April 13th as part of the Bluegrass series. This will be the last performance of the season, so don't miss out. Tickets are available at emlyn.org. 5-year-old Mamaroneck resident Wynn Petcher was chosen as a member of the Legoland Discovery Center Westchester's Creative Crew. Petcher and the other children in the Creative Crew will participate in exclusive building sessions, test out new rides and games at Legoland Westchester, and attend and report on special events. Petcher says he's been building with Lego bricks his whole life, including with some passed down from his dad, and he loves using his imagination.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's roundtable. I'm Michael Witch, and tonight we're going to be talking about anxiety. Who's anxious these days, and what are you anxious about? Is it normal to be anxious? When can it get in the way and get in the way of your life and what you want to do? And we'll answer those questions and hopefully your questions, because this is an interactive live segment and we'd like you to call, or you can email or tweet. And the information on how to contact us will appear on your screen as we talk. And my guest tonight is Colette Lopain Capella, and you are a psychotherapist and a Reiki master, and your practice is in Larchmont.
Yes.
Well, welcome, and I understand from you that appearing on television is not something you like.
Yes.
You've done it once before, and you didn't look quite good.
Yeah, you know, that's another story. But yes, everybody has their fears. And like I said before, fears are false evidence appearing real. And this is something that I'm very fearful about, but I practice what I preach, and I want people to be authentic. And so I'm going to put it out there. This is nerve-wracking for me, but any hurdle, anything that you do that you're fearful of, you develop and grow from it. So there's integrity and inner strength with that. So I'm here.
Well, thank you. and thank you for doing it. And our audience is a wonderful audience. So,
I'm very lucky.
audience, let's show her. Talk to me about anxiety. Is it normal to be anxious from time to time in your life, or should we really be talking about kind of an anxiety disorder where it really takes over and stops you from doing things?
Yeah, that's a great question. So stress is somewhat normal in our lives, right? Stress is like, that gives us that drive or that push to get things done. When stress is happening for a long period of time or a prolonged period of time, it can develop into anxiety. And anxiety is really, it's extremely difficult. I mean, it's these intense fears, worries, nervousness, and it can extremely affect your life and the way you feel. Is it normal to feel stressed from time to time? Yes, but extended periods of it and really this intense fear, talking about fear, or worry or stress
Sure.
can develop into an anxiety disorder.
So it's not just worrying,
Nope, it's not just worrying.
more than that.
There's more than that. There's physical components too.
And we'll get to talk about that and some of the therapies that are applicable, and you could tell us something about your practice in Larchmont, so that people who want to do something about their anxiety, or maybe they know of someone. I know of someone who is very close to me and has an anxiety about driving on a highway with anyone, driving fast. And she had 2 earlier accidents where she was, her car was hit and by someone who, turned poorly into her lane, and it wasn't her fault at all. And that's what she says is the cause of this anxiety. But it's very upsetting to her family because she will not go anywhere where she has to go on a highway. If you can't get there on the back roads, she doesn't go.
Doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And that's something that's common that I hear. Might be a fear of driving because of something that happened and triggered this anxiety in reference to it. And there's a lot of therapeutic approaches that can help with that, like exposure therapy, building on tools and skills to kind of get through
Exposure
that.
means putting you in a car with someone
Kind
driving.
Yeah. So your therapist might like set it up that we're going to take a ride. There's a lot of prep before that. You're not just getting in the car with a therapist and they're like, let's go.
Right.
But there's going to be a lot of tools and skills and just kind of exposure and providing insight and reflection to why she feels like this. Why does she feel this way? Like, where does she feel it? To kind of work through some of those stressors so she feels more relaxed and calm and confident at some point to be able to drive on a highway.
Do these anxieties, are they common among men as well as women?
That's a great question. Yeah, so anxiety doesn't pick and choose. It can happen to males, it can happen to females. There is research that shows that females actually can get anxiety at an earlier age because of the serotonin and the way it's processed in the brain. I don't know about that. I think anybody can be affected by anxiety.
And what about children and teenagers?
That's a great question, definitely. Children and teenagers can be affected by it as well. Children, there could be...
Yeah, I was just going to say, we had some teens on our roundtable a couple of weeks ago, and they were talking about their fear for safety in the schools.
Yeah. That's a big topic now, too. I mean, that can ultimately be very traumatizing and make someone very fearful about even going to school. So it doesn't discriminate. It can really affect anyone. Children, tend to have separation anxiety between 18 months and 3 years. That's very common. But no, it can affect just about anybody.
And so it could be a result of some trauma or a family experience, or is it chemically based?
It could be a
Is it
combination.
inherited?
Possibly. Could be a combination. It could be a chemical imbalance. It could be a traumatic event that's triggered this anxiety, like your friend, right? Going in the car, gotten in this accident, it's triggered the stressor. She probably didn't feel that before. Ultimately, it can kind of come out of nowhere sometimes too. Maybe there's not an identified trigger of why this particular thing or a phobia has occurred or is created.
Okay. We'll get into more of our discussion about anxiety, and we'll be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back to our roundtable and our guest, Colette Lopain-Capella, who is a psychotherapist and a Reiki practitioner in Larchmont. We're talking about anxiety tonight, and we've established that it is a normal condition, but under some circumstances it can really be almost paralyzing.
Sure.
And can change lots in the way that how you approach life. What anxiety can lead to what? Some more serious conditions?
Sure. So anxiety can actually lead to medical conditions, but also panic attacks, where those are really intense if you've ever experienced one. It's really like there's no identified danger, but there's this immense fear. And there's so many physical components that this person is feeling physiologically because the anxiety has gotten to this extent. And it can definitely develop into something like that.
Strange to say this, but we've got a question just about that. I'm reading it from a prompter. It says, how do I know I'm having a panic attack? How does anxiety manifest?
That's a really good question. So if you're having a panic attack, most likely you're feeling these physiological symptoms. So it could be shaking, it could be trembling, it could be heart palpitations, it could
sweating
be
or
sweating, not being able to catch your breath. I mean, there's definitely like identifying factors that something's not right. I mean, some people even confuse it as a heart attack or a stroke, right? You went to the ER because I was having a heart attack, and they're like, no, this was a panic attack. It's a very scary feeling.
And what about a kind of a mental breakdown? Is that a result of prolonged anxiety?
Sure. So prolonged anxiety, or even I guess the way you could look at it is panic attacks repeatedly could lead to a mental breakdown or a nervous breakdown. And that could be because of sleep deprivation, burnout, overload, just this induced stress that's been going on for such a long period of time that someone's no longer able to function. I mean, their everyday tasks aren't even feasible or possible for them anymore.
Can you give us a couple examples of some of the anxiety disorders that present in your practice?
Sure. So I specialize in working with anxiety. That's really one of my areas of expertise. And there is tons of anxiety disorders. There could be generalized anxiety. There's phobias. There's social anxiety, talking on camera.
Or even in a social group where you don't know people.
Yeah.
And you're sort of, what's the behavior? You're kind of like I am, believe it or not, in a corner. You're just sort of in a corner waiting for somebody to approach you and talk to you.
Sure. Or you kind of shut down, or you have these obsessive thoughts. Like you have this interaction with this person, and after the fact, you're like, what did I say? What did they say? Why do I feel this way? It can be very intense and almost like to the point where you don't want to be in these social situations anymore because it stresses you out so much. And that would be time to see a professional.
We have another question that came in, and again, I'll read it from the camera. It says, anger attacks after frustration, is that real? Not sure what that viewer means. Do you understand it?
I'm not quite sure exactly what they're asking. Anger attacks after frustration.
I guess if you're really frustrated with a situation, you get angry at the situation or at the person that might, in your perception, be the cause of that?
Sure. Well, I guess a good way to explain it is anger is kind of a secondary emotion. It's covering up for something deeper. It could be the initial reaction, and the primary reaction could be that it's sadness or stress or vulnerability, and we work it out in anger. And that's because it's an easy, tangible reaction versus feeling that sadness or feeling that hurt. And a lot of times when someone's experiencing anger or they're angry, it's kind of like this hidden card for feeling sad or depressed or maybe even anxiety. And then could, I think, in hand be the frustration component tied in there. But frustration turning into anxiety, I guess I'm sort of trying to understand the question.
Yeah.
Turning into anger, I think is possible, but I think it's important to note that anger is a secondary emotion. It's not initially maybe what inherently you're really feeling.
You've obviously worked with lots of people in our community and outside of our community. I'd like you to share some of those techniques that are available, and we'll do that in our next segment, and it'll be coming up right after this. Don't go away. Welcome back to our roundtable tonight. We're talking about anxiety with Colette Lopain Capella, who's a psychotherapist and a Reiki practitioner in Larchmont. And I had asked her before about some of the ways to deal with anxiety. So is it a doctor's visit? Is it medication? Is it talk?
Talk therapy? Yeah, I mean, so I'm a holistic therapist, so I try to connect the mind, body, and spirit. Seeing a therapist is amazing, right? They're going to be able to talk to you about what the triggers are, what's going on, where is this coming from. A lot of times I tell people therapy could just be the aspect of talking, and that's therapeutic in itself because healing is feeling. And so you're validating your feelings, you're expressing them, and then we build on tools and skills that you can utilize to cope with the concerns. So I use a lot of mindfulness, grounding exercises, really helpful for anxiety, progressive muscle relaxation, positive self-talk, reassuring self-talk when you're in that moment to calm that stressor down. But then there's also, a lot of times in conjunction when somebody's seeing a therapist, they're also seeing a psychiatrist for a medication regimen. So, a psychiatrist may prescribe like an SSRI, an antidepressant, a PRN, as well as the therapy. So there's definitely a lot of options, and it's just what someone feels comfortable with. A lot of people do both, and some people say, I'm not really into any medications. I want to go the holistic route, and I want to figure out what's going on, and I want to build on my tool belt to have as much as I can as possible to overcome this.
So if someone is wondering about their own situation, they call you? And is that typically the first contact as a phone conversation, or do they come in person?
That's a great question. So I offer a free consultation phone call. So someone will call me and I'll say, do you have some time to talk? And we'll kind of talk about what's going on, how they're feeling. I just want to ensure that it's a good fit. I mean, because that's a big component of going into therapy, that you're comfortable and confident with that person. And then just like kind of explaining to them like how therapy works. Because some people are like, what is talk therapy?
Yeah.
Like, are you a shrink, or are you going to mess with my head? That kind of thing, and that old school stuff. And that's not the case at all.
Okay, we have a question from a viewer, Victoria, from New Rochelle. And the question is, what is the best advice when I found myself in hard situations and I feel very nervous and I feel that I am getting anxiety? What can I do at that specific moment? Sounds like maybe a call for a breathing exercise.
Exactly. So if you're feeling anxiety in that moment, you want to validate that feeling. You can sit with it. That's part of mindfulness. So you might do a grounding exercise or a mindfulness exercise where you're like literally using your 5 senses to focus on something else. Focus on the fact that you're okay. This is temporary. It's going to pass. Right? You're going to be all right. Part of it could maybe like view an object and like concentrate on that object and use your 5 senses to incorporate what's going on, because that's centering.
And you coach people in that. You teach people how to do these things.
Oh yeah. There's so, if I could tell you about all the tools and skills and ways that you can calm that anxiety, we would be here for hours. But there's really good stuff that's extremely helpful. But
Victoria, I hope that answers your question, and feel free to call with another. And we have a couple more minutes with our guest, so if you've got a question, now's the time to call. I know people who immediately go to Xanax for calm, and they get a certain degree of calm.
Sure.
But it's short-lived, and it's not. It doesn't solve the problem, because the next time the anxiety appears, it's another Xanax.
Yeah. So therapy takes a little bit of a different, well, definitely a different approach. You're really getting down to like what internally is going on. Why do you feel this way? Is there a trigger? And the longevity of sort of releasing that anxiety or feeling whole from it is better when you're doing that talk therapy versus like, I'm just going to take a pill. I mean, that's a short-term fix, right? That's a quick fix. Long-term effects of therapy are shown to really improve people's lives.
You're a Reiki master.
Yes.
Talk about Reiki a little bit, because imagine some people have heard of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Some have never.
Yeah. So I'm a Reiki practitioner in my office. It's absolutely amazing. It's the ancient art of Japanese art of energy healing. It's balancing the 7 chakras. When a chakra is off, depending on which one it is, there could be emotional and medical components that are sort of in line with that. And when you're able to sort of balance all the chakras, it's a
A
profound.
chakra, am I wrong in saying that a chakra is an energy site?
Yeah, well, I guess in a sense you could. Then there's 7 chakras throughout our body, so we have where we're kind of loaded up with them. We have the root chakra all the way up to the crown.
That would be in the head.
The crown is
chakra.
here.
Okay.
So this is the third eye, right between the eyebrows.
Okay.
You're intuition.
I've been exposed a little bit to Reiki.
Yeah, I noticed. This is awesome. But yeah, I mean, once it's a really profound thing. I mean, it's a great experience. It's very balancing. And a lot of times when people walk out of my office after doing a Reiki session, they're like, I'm floating out. I feel like this sense of calmness and serenity and peace.
I've also heard people
fantastic.
say that if they get a massage, that they feel a similar.
Kind of similar.
You don't do massage therapy in
No.
your office, but it is another modality.
Yeah, it is. I think it's probably similar to that. And I think within my practice, I'm kind of like offering like both, right? So it's like the talk therapy and like validating the feelings. Feeling is healing. On the other side of it is like this holistic side, like what is going on with the body? What's going on with the chakras and how can we balance it to feel whole?
You have a website.
Yes.
Do you want to mention that website? What can people find when they go to that website?
Sure. So my website is clopaintherapy.com. My practice name is New Day Vitality. That's CLOPANE therapy.com. There's all my contact information there, all my services, all my specialty, including the Reiki. And I offer individual, couples, family, and group sessions.
And your phone number for people who want to write it down.
That's a good question. 914-715-0719.
Okay, so if people didn't get a chance to get this information, this particular show will be archived on the web, as all of our shows are on the internet, and you can ask for a special repeat of this broadcast. And I thank you, Colette, for being our guest tonight, and hope that you come back and talk about other topics.
Thank you. It was an honor.
You're welcome.
We made it.
There's more live talk, local live rather, coming up. I got the show name wrong. Stay tuned.
I'm a reporter, I'm a producer, I'm a writer.
I am a news anchor. I am a producer.
I am a news editor.
I am the technical director.
I am a reporter. I am an anchor.
I volunteer for the Local Live because I'm a proud resident of Larchmont and Mamaroneck, and I like to give back to the community.
I volunteer for the Local Live because I believe in bringing the news into your living room.
I volunteer for the Local Live because I believe in leadership, support, and success in a community.
I volunteer at the Local Live because it's a fun learning experience, and I know each week I come, I can learn something new.
I volunteer for the Local Live because I believe in community television.
As a spring intern at the Local Live, I learned new skills like video, editing, and production, and furthered my skills as a writer. The internship gave me confidence as I embarked on my journey through the world of journalism.
We are the Local Live.
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 Lisa Edwards is a teacher's aide at Murray Avenue School, but outside school, she's training for a chance to compete in the 2020 Track and Field Olympics. Ms. Edwards talked about her latest dream in the latest Mamaroneck Minute produced by the district.
I'm trying to qualify for the Olympics in 2020, at least for the trials, and the qualifying standard is about 2.5 seconds. I'm off of that right now, so I'm really close to trying to make the qualifying standard, so I just have to keep focused and be dedicated. The bulk of my competition is in the summertime, July, August, when I'm mostly out of the state. One student asked me how many medals have I won, and I couldn't tell you. I think I have over 600 or 700 medals. over the 30 plus years of running, they amount.
From the time I was 5 to the time I was about 15, traveled all over the country. And now that I'm older, I can travel all over the world. It's a lot of fun.
How do you get onto the Olympics? Like, do you just travel somewhere in the world and say, hello, can I go on the Olympics?
Well, you have to qualify. There's always qualifying standards for the Olympics. So for the relay team for the Olympics, you have to be already on the team to run. So if I qualify, then I can be on a relay. Well, I had to practice at it and work at it.
I like interacting with the students and the other adults here. I try to steer them in the right direction, make sure they know the difference between right and wrong and how to talk to their friends and the best way to communicate with them. I want them to know that we're here to help them to either make sure they have a safe environment in the school, in the classroom, and or out in recess. The training aspect is really hard. It's 3 to 4 hours of my day that's just straight, just hard work, hard, not constantly nonstop, especially at the level that I'm at now, trying to do the things that I want to do.
It's amazing, guys. The rain has stopped, so we're going outside.
I stay motivated just seeing other athletes out there. Like right now with the Olympics, I see them like, wow, they're out there, they're doing it, I can do it too. My next competition is in Landover, Maryland in March. I'm competing in the 60 hurdles, the 2, the 4, and the 4x4. So that's 5 events in 3 days. If I don't make it for track and field, I'm gonna try archery. It's always been a dream of mine to be in the Olympics for track and field, but you know what? If I can be in the Olympics in a different sport, that's okay with me.
With baseball season underway, Smokehouse brings a new twist to their cocktail menu. Producer Sibylla Chipaziwa has more.
Baseball season is here, and at Smokehouse Tailgate and Grill on Mamaroneck Avenue, that means 9 new spring cocktails, along with a trading card element to celebrate.
We were just shooting some ideas around the bar like normal, and we thought it'd be fun getting ready for baseball season, to have a little fun and incorporate that and get everybody into the mood for baseball coming up. So we came up with an idea of using fictional baseball characters, like from Major League or League of Their Own or Rookie of the Year, Field of Dreams, all those, and incorporating them into some type of drink.
Justin made the Durham Hill with muddled blueberries, lime and mint, blueberry vodka,
And we're gonna strain out all the blueberries and mint. Get a good base over the ice.
topped with ginger beer, and to finish,
Dress her up with some mint leaves, a couple of blueberries on top. And enjoy. We'll be rolling that into later on in the spring. We're gonna have like a little trading card game where we'll have certain days where you can come in and get a certain cocktail, and you'll get a trading card with a picture of that cocktail and all its stats and how to make it at home and all that stuff. And if you collect all 8 trading cards, we're gonna be giving away a t-shirt and tickets to Yankee games and stuff like that.
these cocktails and more could have you saying, "Take me out to the Smokehouse." For the Local Live, I'm Sibylla Chipaziwa.
Our new spacious studio here at the Town Center is allowing us to share more resources with the community. And starting April 7th, we're going to have classes for LMC TV members that include technical directing, which starts this Saturday, April 7th at 10:30 in the morning, screenwriting's next Monday the 9th at 7 p.m., smartphone photography is April 17th, that's a Tuesday at 7 p.m., Reporters Boot Camp, so you can participate and be a reporter on this show. Reporters Boot Camp's Monday, April 23rd at 7 p.m. And editing your footage is Tuesday, April 24th at 4:30, and I think that's for teens. And Talk TV, a producer's guide, is on Saturday, April 21st at 10 a.m. COO Matt Sullivan and programmer and photographer Stefan La Luisa tell us more about the upcoming classes.
Invite you to our Amazon Story Writer class that we're going to be holding here at the LMC TV headquarters at the Town Center. The class will be on Monday, April 9th from 7 to 9 p.m. and you will learn a little bit about screenwriting using Amazon Story Writer.
Unlock the power of your smartphone and learn to capture better images use basic photo editing techniques, and store all of your important memories on the cloud.
More information about the classes will be posted on lmctv.org. We encourage you to register soon, though, because the class sizes are limited. Also, save the date. This April 20th at 6 p.m., we'll be hosting our official ribbon cutting ceremony. Remember, we're always looking for new volunteers and interns to help produce the newscast. We love hearing from our viewers also, so email comments and inquiries to thelocallive@lmctv.org. Our entire production team thanks you for watching. I'm Maura Carlin. See you next week. Good night.